But fortunately, this person lives much longer, so you'll have something to look forward to. Although they also died a long time ago. This is Louise Michel. Louise Michel was a school teacher in France, and was always getting in trouble because she was into secularism rather than like God, and that was kind of not okay at the time. And she also was against whichever Napoleon was in charge at that time in France. And so she would constantly get fired or whatever. And then the Paris Commune happened, and the like 10-second version of what the Paris Commune is that the military was away, and so everyone in Paris is like, sweet, the military's away, let's like have a commune. And no one really knew what a commune was supposed to look like, but it was like all the socialists and anarchists and communists and everyone being like, all right, this is our town now, and everyone's like, woo, and then they like have this like party for a while. And then the National Guard and the military and all that come back, and then there's a war instead of a party. Which seems to be a lot of like the parties that my friends throw. Anyway, they not with the war, but with the cops coming. Anyway, so the National Guard comes, and there's this story that I totally don't believe, but I'm going to tell you as if it is true, just like George Washington. Okay, so Louise Michel leads an army of 100 women up to the National Guard, and they're all armed, the women and the National Guard. And then, they're all getting ready to shoot each other, and then the National Guard's like, no, we can't shoot women. And so they like all sit down and have like wine and cheese and bread in like the middle of the streets. And I think that story was made up by someone making fun of France, but it seems to be in all the like books and shit that happened. So that's Louise Michel. Well, that's part of Louise Michel's thing. And then so the commune falls. All the communards are rounded up. Most of them are shot. All of her friends are shot, and they're like, and they won't shoot her, and she gets really frustrated. And in 1877, although I actually think it might be 81, and I got that wrong. All right, I'm an author. You can trust me. So 1877, Louise refuses preferential treatment on account of their presumed gender. And what they say to the judge is, since it seems that every heart that beats for freedom has no right to anything but a little slug of lead, I demand my share. If you let me live, I shall never cease to cry for vengeance. And this is a judge or something up here with like the wig. I don't think they had the wigs. I don't know. And so this is her response to not being shot. And instead they deport her, they refuse to shoot her. And on the boat she converts to anarchism. They always say convert, and I always think that's really funny, like it's a religion or something. But she goes to New Caledonia, where she's been deported. It's a French colony. She helps set up a school for the indigenous folks there, and is like teaching. And then the indigenous folks there have a revolution against colonialism in New Caledonia, French colonialism. And she is one of the few communards who actually fights with them. Mostly, by and large, the communards are like, oh, well, it's good to have it like back in France. We can have like a revolution and stuff. But I don't know about this like colony thing. At least that's the way I like to say it. And I would like to think that it's partly because she's an anarchist, and probably just because she's a decent person, that she helped them fight as well. And then I think it's 89, all of the communards get pardoned. Once again, times of social upheaval. Great time to go to jail. You don't go through that long, or they kill you. And then she goes back to France, and she becomes a popular novelist and children's story writer, and important literary figure. And she stays active as an anarchist, and she travels to the end of her days talking about anarchism. And apparently a lot of like middle schools and like schools in France are named after her. She's like important like in French, just all over the place in French history, from like feminism and teaching points of view, and also anarchism. And finally, I'm almost done with the presentation. I'm going to talk about the most important author that we're going to talk about tonight, which is me. This is Margaret Magpie Killjoy from 1982 to 2184. Because
was there, wasn't it?
I just explained. Don't worry.
Oh, that you're going to live to 2184?
So in 2012, after an evil warlord enslaves the earth, Magpie and 200 other armed anarchists commit regicide, and the whole world becomes an anarchist utopia. The anarchist press largely dismisses the action as vanguardist. And this is a evil warlord representing capitalism as a whole. And this says, "Have at you, capitalism," and that's me with a sword there. And this is Magpie, maybe we should use guns, which would seem like good advice, except I think that you have to be really classy when you're doing stuff. And that's my presentation on anarchism and fiction.